Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Kita mulakan program kita dengan Ummul Kitab Al-Fatihah. Okey, Assalamualaikum dan salam sejahtera. Saya Azli Bin Nawawi daripada Pusat Pembelajaran Maya UTHM. Bernampak logo dekat atas ni. Okey, Maya UTHM. Okey. Jadi hari ini hari yang baik kerana kita akan bersama-sama berbincang tentang transformasi digital dan kita menjemput seorang insan hebat daripada KPT. Okey, kita akan perkenalkan kejap lagi. Dan anda semua boleh dengar sesi ini dan digalakkan tanya soalan. Sebab bila bincang pasal transformasi digital, memang semua elemen di UTHM kena bergerak bersama-sama lah. Okey, dah sampai zaman dia. Okey, pada hari ini kita akan bersama dengan Profesor Madya Dr. Wan Zuhainis Binti Saad. Okey, beliau merupakan seorang pengarah di bahagian kecemerlangan akademik di Kementerian Pengajian Tinggi. Okey, orangnya sangat hebat. Saya sempat study dia punya profil semalam. Okey. Kita kagum kerana beliau merupakan seorang Profesor Madya dalam bidang mikrobiologi. Okey, quite interesting. Dan beliau sangat fokus tentang memperkasakan para penuntut tentang menggunakan experiential learning, okey, pembelajaran berbantukan teknologi, okey. Dan kita juga kagum kerana beliau merupakan salah seorang pemenang anugerah akademik negara pada tahun 2018 bagi bahagian Teaching Award Pure Science Cluster. Okey, quite amazing sebenarnya. Okey. Dan sekarang beliau berkhidmat sebagai pengarah di bahagian kecemerlangan akademik BKA KPT. Dan skop kerja yang biasa beliau lakukan adalah tentang perancangan strategik berkaitan planning, pembangunan polisi, inovasi, scholarship dan juga pembangunan modal insaan. Okey, jadi saya cakap banyak pun tak guna. Jadi kita akan serahkan sesi kepada yang berbahagia, Profesor Madya Dr. Wan Zuhainis. Dipersilakan.
Terima kasih Dr. Azli Bin Nawawi, pengarah Center for Virtual Learning CVL. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh dan salam sejahtera, selamat pagi, salam Ramadan Mubarak pada semua yang hadir ke seminar The Right Time for Digital Transformation. Terima kasih Dr. Azli di atas very kind introduction. Saya akan share my screen nanti.
Type di ruang komen di YouTube TV, UTHM TV. Jadi kami akan majukan soalan anda. Okey. Jadi tanya je apa yang anda rasa nak tanya berkaitan transformasi digital. Kalau ada yang nak tanya tentang bahan presentation kejap lagi, okey, jangan segan-segan. So ni masanya kita buat sesi santai. Jadi anda boleh open dan tanya soalan kalau ada nak tanyalah. Okey. So harap-harap bolehlah dapat banyak soalan sikit hari ni. Okey. Kita tunggu slide daripada Profesor. Okey.
Saya dah share screen, boleh nampak?
Okey dah, okey kami nampak.
Okey. Terima kasih. So, topic that was given to me here is the right time for digital transformation. I think perhaps soalannya the right time. When is the right time? So kan. And bila kita discuss pasal right time tu, there are many. Okay. Sorry. Okay. So I think now since 18 March 2020, now is 12 April 2022. After 2 years with COVID, and everybody, especially in the higher learning institution or higher education sectors, have been impacted with COVID-19. And we know that COVID-19 has accelerated the digital transformation of higher education, and not just with online learning. We're going to discuss on further how the digital transformation that being accelerated not only for learning but also in other aspect in higher learning institution. And of course, okay, it doesn't go to the next one. Okay, and during the pandemic, I remember we had to transfer, not only just transfer, I call it as a rapid transition to online learning. And UTHM is one of the universities, and all the universities actually, all the public universities, colleges, private universities, and other higher learning institutions were conducting all the courses online, fully online. And we had many discussion, many sharing from the universities on how to teach online. So at that time, even until now, although most of the educators and the students are ready for hybrid learning or online learning, but I'm sure that there are many, we still have rooms for improvement, because by having classes online, that doesn't mean that we have actually created the conducive virtual learning environment for our students. And at the same time, we need to know where are we with the digital transformation, right? So I'm going to share with you the importance of this digital transformation from the World Economic Forum that was published in 2020 on the top 10 job roles increasing in demand across industries by 2025. So which is not far away. The World Economic Forum, the data has actually showed that they are predicting the job demands in data analysts and data scientists. Digital transformation specialist, number 7. Can you see digital transformation specialist? So if we can, for example, if we in the universities can identify the people or the champion that can support us or facilitate us in digital transformation, so we need to engage with those people. And not only the reason why I'm sharing this, I need to emphasize that in digital transformation, it's not just the responsibility or the role for the from the center of information technology, for example. Okay, it is at each level, from the top management until all the educators and all the staff and the supporting staff. So the job roles that are increasing demands, for example, not just digital transformation specialists, you can see that Internet of Things specialists. Now, when we talk about digital transformation, we also want to emphasize on our readiness for the IR4, Industrial Revolution 4.0, because the 11 pillar of IR4 also interrelated with the digital transformation that we need to make. Now, when we look at, for example, like number 5, process automation specialists, right? So all these job roles, not just in terms of technical sectors, but also with the social sciences and other disciplines. For AI and machine learning, big data specialists, information security analysts, for example, it cut across all disciplines. That's why together with the strategic plan by NACSA, for example, on cybersecurity, anticipated that they need about nearly 20,000 of cybersecurity specialists by 2024. Okay, so as the supplier or from the higher learning institution, where are we in producing these talents? Not only just in cybersecurity, but all these talents. How can we facilitate, how can we accommodate the requirements that are needed across industries by 2025? And just now was on the top 10 job roles, now on the skills. So analytical thinking and innovation is still number one. The first in top 10 skills by 2025. You can see active learning and learning strategies are still at number 2. Okay, and technology design and programming, technology use, monitoring and control, leadership and social influence, resilience and stress tolerance, reasoning, problem solving and ideation. Those are some of the new skills that have been now on top 10 skills by 2025. So our graduates, okay, we have these skills. We keep saying about our graduates need to have the skills in complex problem solving, critical thinking, creativity, originality and initiative, analytical thinking. But the question is, where are we now? Okay, how do we support, or how do we provide that opportunity for our students to acquire all these skills? Are we doing it now? Are we providing that opportunity? And I do believe that those opportunities we can actually provide through many platforms, including the integration in our delivery, our teaching delivery in the curriculum itself. So when we talk about digital transformation, earlier was on the rapid transition to online learning, but now is actually beyond COVID-19. We are now in the transition phase to endemicity, and we need to plan for our future of higher education, especially in teaching and learning, and not just on online learning. During this time, these past 2 years, there are many universities who have applied either through new programs or revising their curriculums to offer open and distance learning, ODL. So I think that is one of the efforts, great efforts from the universities to revise their curriculum and to offer it as open distance learning, or ODL, in order to support more in order to support flexible education, but at the same time to provide more opportunity for other people to have access to the education. And the way forward, although we can see now that students are very familiar with online learning. Students are very familiar with online learning. We do want to highlight how the future of higher education should be based on the demand for engaging experience by our students. And of course, the having different approach, more innovative approach in delivering, okay, in delivering our topics, our syllabus in teaching and learning, using technology to enhance learning, for example, technology enhanced learning TEL, or by providing students with experience working with other people through transdisciplinary approach. So those teaching model and teaching approach have been introduced in many platforms, and there are many universities have actually offer transdisciplinary programs, but we are still, in terms of active learning, analytical thinking, and innovation, we are still a bit behind in terms of providing that opportunity for our students, and in terms of making that change from our educators. Now, in order for us to achieve all these requirements, and all for us to provide or to produce the talents that are needed, and we need to be able to identify, okay, where are we now and what are the gaps, because through the 10 shifts, okay, the first, holistic, entrepreneurial and balanced graduate, talent excellence, nation of lifelong learning, TVETs, globalized online learning, all these outcomes and enablers still with the one mission is to produce a learned, values-driven talent. Okay, and through framework of shared prosperity vision 2030, the enabler 8, number 8 enabler, where national outcome-based education and TVET were also emphasized, and through the ESG, through ESD, the universities are should be aligned with the 17 goals of the Sustainable Development. So, for Malaysia Higher Education, in 2018, produced this Malaysia Higher Education Framework, Humanizing Higher Education, focusing when we actually focus on the flexible curriculum design and delivery and assessment. Of course, the 4 research, innovation, talent planning, and agile governance are also emphasized, but we want to focus for the academic, from my division, academic excellence division, we want to focus on the flexible curriculum design, delivery, and assessment, where it has, although it has been shared, or it has been in place since 2018 on the fluid and organic curriculum, and to produce holistic and balanced graduates, holistic, entrepreneurial, and balanced graduate, to produce graduate with 21st century skill. But we still have, we are still facing with these challenges in terms of mismatch. Okay, and all these either mismatch, skill mismatch, or underemployment, low salary, those are all still the issues that have been ongoing. It's like forever, but with the initiative that we want from the Department of Higher Education and from the efforts of from the universities, we are trying to close that gap. okay, in terms of this skill mismatch. And through framework, the higher education framework just now, we introduced also to U2I, and since 2018 until now, 2021, we have 110 programs. Okay, we have 110 programs that offered either in 2 years in university or 2 years in industry, or in the form of 3U1I or 2U1I. And these are only, this number is actually only from the public universities. As I mentioned earlier on transdisciplinary programs, also we have transdisciplinary programs, but still in very low numbers. Okay, so with the framework of higher education 4.0, in 2020 we revised the curriculum. We revised the framework, because we do believe that curriculum structure should be the foundation for the future ready curriculum, okay, and not as one of the branches of the pedagogy and also the assessment. So with the fluid and organic curriculum structure as the foundation, transformative teaching and learning delivery together with the holistic assessment make up the future ready curriculum framework to produce lifelong learners, design thinkers, and graduates with 21st century skill and holistic, entrepreneurial and balance. So that was in 2020. Now, having the idea or the framework for future ready curriculum, for example, when we look at 21st century pedagogy, when we look at future, one of the elements of transformative teaching and learning delivery is also futuristic learning spaces, immersive experiential learning, right? And how do we evaluate students through alternative assessment or holistic assessment? And how do we, where are we in terms of flexible and non-conventional programs? So based on the progress in terms of 2U2I, industry-based learning, and the fluid and organic curriculum structure, we extract or we deep dive into the fluid and organic curriculum structure to produce the Excel or experiential learning and competency-based education landscape. Now, I'm going to relate this framework with our digital transformation initiative. Through Excel, I think I've shared at many platforms. I've shared also with UTHM on this Excel, where the 4 thrusts, industry-driven experiential learning, research-infused, community resilience, and personalized experiential learning are the 4 main thrusts of the Excel, with 10 generic skills: communication, critical thinking, creative, innovative, and entrepreneurial skills, computational thinking and ICT literacy, complex problem solving, collaboration and leadership. And because of this pandemic, we also want to highlight on the cognitive and affective flexibility, cross-cultural and global learning skills, how we can actually connect with the world. The world becomes smaller through video conferencing. We connect with other. Before this, we have global classroom. Remember, I think one of the pioneers of global classroom was with UMP, University of Malaysia Pahang, where they have synchronous classes with students from other universities in other countries, for example, like from Oxford, Cambridge, even Bangladesh, Pakistan, Indonesia, China, for example. So, but now with the virtual conferencing, cross-cultural and global learning skills are become important and being emphasized. Career and learning self-reliance, coping and well-being skills also. So these are the generic skills cut across the all the thrusts in Excel. And from there, from the four thrusts, the pedagogical approach shown, for example, for care, community resilience experiential learning, community-based learning approach, okay, is used, where two main skills, civic engagement skills and organization and entrepreneur skills. For real research-infused experiential learning, inquiry-based learning is the pedagogical approach. And research and scientific skills and practical skills are the two main skills acquired from real program. From work-based learning approach is used in ideal industry-driven experiential learning, where work value and cultural skills and work-related skills are emphasized. And using self-determined learning approach in personalized experiential learning in POISE, students attribute or student skills acquired from this approach, this type of program would be decision-making skills and progressive management skills. Now, we can see that there are a specific approach, pedagogical approach, and main skills that acquired from the trust, but other skills like process skill, negotiation skill, and value driven or resource management, although it is highlighted in ideal program, but it can also be, it is actually interconnected also and interrelated with other thrusts. Intercultural skill, science making, and empathy. And of course, for example, in real, the reasoning, numeracy skill, analytical thinking, and social innovation. Now, if let's say we, when we talk about POISE, where the skills versatile, agile, resource management, ethics and professionalism are emphasized, especially in POISE, how where students are being, any individual who wants to upskill or who acquire their degree, for example, would be able to take courses from any platforms and turn into credits, and the individual can apply for a degree in any universities using the courses that they have taken now. And these courses, although we will say any platform, but of course the universities resources, the infrastructure and infrastructure also play an important role in providing, in supporting flexible education, not only just through micro-credentials, but also to support the personalized experiential learning or POISE. Now, if one institution, okay, if an institution is not ready to offer micro-credential courses or to offer POISE program, or they're not ready, they don't even have the mechanism for credit transfer, for example, then the process of to enhance the flexible education through digital transformation will be delayed. So it is very important that we understand, or it is very important that we need to emphasize through digital transformation, indirectly it support the whole process of digital learning, including the experiential learning and competency-based education landscape. Now, at this moment, it has been one of the amanat from our ministers on how the 20 public universities need to revise their program, okay, this year based on Excel. Okay, so we have actually shared with each and everyone the playbook, the Excel metrics to identify or to determine your programs based on Excel. And the main goals for Excel is to produce resilient and change-ready talent. Okay, now through KPT PACE, we have received many application for KPT PACE professional certification, and there are many programs, okay, certification programs that focus on the digital talent. So when I look at the applications, the programs, the type of program, then it gives also a bigger picture and or an overview of how our ecosystem, okay, or our higher education landscape, okay, in terms of supporting the digital transformation, because I find that we are still lacking of this digital talents, especially in the IR4 pillars. So, but the question is how ready we are in terms of the infrastructure and infrastructure to support the 11 pillars of industry revolution. Okay, so the My Digital Economy Blueprint that was launched last year for Ministry of Higher Education, we are involved in digital talent under My Digital Governance Structure, digital talent, digital infrastructure and data, and also emerging technology. Okay, we are part of these members in the National Digital Economy and 4IR Council, which is actually chaired by the Prime Minister. So when we talk about digital talent here, we are talking about the educators, digital talent, and of course how do we embrace that emerging technology. Now, in order for us to make, it is actually made known, okay, on the digital challenges in the universities, especially when in terms of the institutional readiness, educators' readiness, even student readiness. So from the My Digital Economy Blueprint, for example, talking about digital talent, talking about emerging technology, we need also to address these digital challenges, including the pedagogical approaches just now, and also the students' emotional status. Recently also, we have found some articles also showed how our educators also, we need to support also our educators, their emotional status. So, this is actually a report by Educos Horizon report, Teaching and Learning Education in 2021, that focus on hybrid learning, micro-credentialing, quality online learning, and learning analytics, AI, open educational resources, blended and hybrid course models. When I look at this report, I find it, we in Malaysia hire Malaysian public universities, especially through MEPTA, Malaysian E-Learning Council, and also MAPITA, okay, Majlis Pengarah-Pengarah ICT, IPTA contohnya. We are working closely, okay, to ensure that, for example, through blended learning, open educational resources, quality online learning, and learning analytics. These have been introduced in many platforms I think since 2014, that where we started blended learning. 1732, remember, 30% as a supplement for face-to-face. But the micro-credentials and AI, for example, has progressed rapidly, actually, since this report even in 2020. So sometimes we cannot catch up fast enough to test the technical advances of this machine in natural languages. So machine learning, AI, deep learning has evolved into self-supervised learning, that where AI also can be learn from raw data. So although AI has the potential to play a role in all areas of higher education, we when we discuss about teaching and learning, support for the or support for accessible apps and student information using AI are even in examination, for example, that can be supported by AI. So AI also can actually help in learning experiences. So, but the question is, how much of these opportunities that have emerged in the learning ecosystem in our universities? Where are we when we talk about AI in the universities? And if there is has any has this been discussed in any platform, or ada tak ianya dibingkirkan in your plan strategic? How do we integrate this AI in teaching and learning? Who do we work with from the TNCA office, together with the TNC Jaringan Industri dan Masyarakat, for example, pembangunan and research. Who do we work with? How can we work together to support this AI, for example, in the universities? So when we discuss about digital transformation, okay, it's not just digitization, and it's not just digitalization. It's not about changing from analog to digital form. It's not about using technology or information to transform the institutional operation. But digital transformation is a series of deep and coordinated culture, workforce, and technology shifts. This is from the EduCourse in 2020, where the technology shift and that enable new educational and operating model and transform an institution operation strategic direction and value proposition. So it is actually a transformation that needs to be done at the institution level. It's just for teaching and learning. It's not just for student intake. It's not just for research. It has to be the transformation that need to be done at every level. Okay, from the top management until individual warga IPT lah. Di sini warga UTHM. So your latihan, your
Prof, sorry
Yep.
for disturbing. So I have
boleh.
one question, Prof, about the digital
Boleh.
transformation.
Okay.
Okay. So what I can see here in UTHM, when we talk about digital transformation, most of the staff there feel uneasy, uncomfortable.
Okay.
Because of the lack of technology awareness or maybe skills. So from your side, okay, daripada hati ke hati. So what is anything that you want to suggest to the staff, maybe to the academic staff? So what they can do to ride on the wave, okay, to follow the wave, okay, something like that, okay.
Okay. So as an academic staff myself, as an educator, I think the first thing is we need to identify kat mana kita. Di mana kita, apa yang kita perlukan untuk kita mempunyai kemahiran digital tersebut. What do we need? So are we competent enough? Okay, now I can use, the normal exercise that we have been doing even before the pandemic is using as simple as learning management system lah, for example, right? LMS. So we upload our notes, we do quizzes, maybe not much of the interaction dalam LMS. Now itu in terms of teaching and learning menggunakan teknologi, using that technology for using LMS. But now I need to with the advancements of the technology. Before this, maybe we have used certain tools. Web 2.0 tools, kita guna Padlet contohnya. But now we need to do some analytics on how our students are how do we engage our students, how our students are engaged with our learning materials in the LMS. So yang tu just one small part of the digital transformation saja, which is actually based on our kemahiran ataupun kompetensi pensyarah. But the digital transformation itself, di mana contohnya ianya kita kena bayangkan the digital transformation that we want to make is even to come until the campus becomes a smart campus. Kita kena berfikir lebih jauh lah to see a bigger picture. Now when we say okay, is your university a smart campus? Yes, we use e-wallet, kita cashless. Okay, that is a very small part of the digital or digitalization that has been done in the university by having cashless or using e-wallet in many settings. But we are talking about the whole ecosystem, digitalization or digital transformation that in terms of the whole higher education ecosystem, where even let's say even sebelum pelajar masuk ke dalam kampus lagi, they can experience using AR or VR. They can visit their rooms dekat college, for example. Nak masuk asrama ni, we want to share the experience menggunakan teknologi dengan augmented reality or virtual reality, where students can experience as though they are in UTHM already. Contoh lah. So from day one, not even day one lagi, when they want to apply for UTHM, this is what UTHM is providing the student. Okay, tunjuk kat mana all your faculties, how do your labs or studios look like, and they can experience it. So even the process of registering and all are already all digitized. When the students arrive in UTHM perhaps, and just scanning or using kalau dekat smart campus tu, you can just use your face ID and then you are there, you are all set up already. So those transformation, although maybe okay, ada juga yang kata, oh, that is so ambitious lah kan, kita kata, tetapi if we are not doing if we do not plan from now, we are going to be left behind compared to other universities, not just di US or UK, but kita kena tengok yang paling dekat dengan kita, macam even Thailand and also Indonesia. Okay, Singapore tu tak payah cakap lah. Sorry?
Dia better. Thailand and Indonesia, dia better in some part. Kalau macam AR VR tu, dia lagi hebat lah untuk content creation.
In terms of immersive simulation experience, immersive experience through virtual reality simulation tu. Cuma you see, I think in Malaysia, one of the I think one of the challenges or limitations, we are not sharing enough. Okay, kita tak share in terms of what we have in or ataupun kita kata sharing of best practices among the universities. What do we have? Most universities perhaps they have the the capability of coming out with smart classroom, for example. UTM, for example, recently launched, not recently lah, last year they launched the smart classroom. So I think the other universities yang ada smart classroom, UPSI and UPM and UKM. So I think the OD, or the operational definition for smart classroom, also we need to we need to define what is, maybe smart classroom in UTHM is different compared to other universities. The private higher education institution like TALES, they even have now the hybrid classroom. So in terms of digital transformation, definitely kita melihat ada yang there are more there are those who are actually more advanced than others, but at the same time we need not to be rasa macam maybe a bit ketinggalan, but then we want to move forward by identifying where are we in terms of the digital transformation, at what level, and we can plan it phase by phase. And of course, in terms of just now educators, kita cakap pasal the competencies, lecturers competency in using technology for learning, to enhance learning. Again, we keep emphasizing that technology is a tool to enhance learning. Pedagogy come first. Technology will not be able to replace great educators, but great educators need to make that change also in terms of using the technology, because we want to be we want to be not just, we want to be excellent, we want to be updated with the advancement of technology, and we want to facilitate learning, and we want to also because we keep thinking that okay, our students are Gen Z students and they are digital natives and they know how to use devices, but we as educators, we want to facilitate them or to guide them on how to learn using the devices, using technology. So and if we want to make that change, okay, no, it's not if, when we want to make that change, we need the support from the universities, from the faculties, from your department. We need the support in terms of facilities, in terms of infrastructure. Okay, later I'll show you how the examples of the hybrid classes looks like, but some we may not be able to afford the yang canggih-canggih punya hybrid classroom, but
Harganya
we
mahal.
want we sangat mahal kan.
Sangat mahal harga dia. Aduh.
Yeah, but we want to improvise lah,
Betul,
improvise.
perlu.
So we have
Betul.
kan, we have our screen, we have our screen, and we have our video conferencing tool. So perhaps the university can support in terms of the subscription of certain licenses kan. Contohnya kita ada guna Zoom, kita ada guna Webex or Microsoft Teams, but we want to also bagi options lah kepada pensyarah, because they are more, maybe they say okay, I want to use Zoom for example because I'm more familiar and they're more friendly, contoh lah kan. But then there are pensyarah who wants to use Teams. So as the faculty, we want to support our educators, because in the process of digital, in making that transformation, these are the support that we want to give to our lecturers. Having said that, in the process of making that transformation, we as educators also become more creative and innovative. And tadi kan kita kata nak improvise. So before this, we don't have the moving camera in the classroom. Then kita gunalah swivel contohnya, yang boleh ikut kita to record. So that one will cost you about 1,800, 2,000 ringgit. Also, that is part of the infrastructure that should be supported by the universities. So itu just one small part of the teaching and learning, and belum cerita lagi pasal the the system in the universities, including sistem maklumat pelajar, sistem research grant research, ataupun sistem latihan, those at different portfolio and different sectors. And the question is, are we talking to each other? Okay, when the universities with one goal untuk nak melahirkan, contohnya our core business is teaching, academic we have research, and also in jaringan industri dan masyarakat, and of course our students, right? So when we have the initiative or the idea, contohnya dalam learning, but in order for us to produce that holistic, entrepreneurial and design and balanced graduate, is not just the NCA or the pensyarah or bawah portfolio the NCA saja tanggungjawab dia. Research juga memainkan peranan, HEPA, jaringan industri dan masyarakat, pembangunan, semuanya memainkan peranan yang sama. So it is very important that this collective effort, needs to be strengthened in the universities in order for us to achieve the same goal. So bila kita cakap pasal a series of deep and coordinated culture, workforce and technology shift to, meaning that the whole the strategic plan, and the process flow need to be kita perlu perincikan, and everybody should know what to do. So we start small. Okay, we start small because for educators, okay, we use technology. Bila kita kata kita use technology ni, what are the devices that we need? What are the facilities that we need? What are the licenses that we need for software? For some universities, nak buat nak come up with contohnya digital content, they provide for some ada centralized studio untuk buat recording using iStudio for example. For some ada universities yang memang allocate certain amount to prepare the faculties for a mini studio contohnya. For some universities they have certain allocation for grants in teaching and learning to create more innovative and creative pedagogical approach or using a project-based learning contohnya. So there are many platforms yang perlu ada, there are many opportunities yang perlu ada yang that need to be provided to the educators, especially in teaching and learning, digital learning itself, and of course in other including research and industri dan masyarakat dan juga pelajar. So even the recently when we want to we are actually working very closely with Commonwealth of Learning based in Canada, where we do the benchmarking. 6 universities had volunteered for that, and we will be sharing the reports in June to all. That is actually an initiative to benchmark or to identify where are we in terms of technology enhanced learning. So daripada situ report tu juga akan menunjukkan where the status ataupun proses yang perlu ditambah baik dalam memastikan ekosistem pembelajaran digital itu dibangunkan, menjadikan ia lebih kondusif. So in terms of documentation, in terms of the strategic plan, in terms of support, management, semua tu adalah antara part of the digital transformation itself.
Prof, nak 5 minit break ke?
Boleh, tak perlu break, tapi bolehlah masa break ni tanya-tanya soalan.
Okey, rasa dah ada soalan dekat YouTube. Jap, saya minta kawan saya, tim saya paparkan soalan. Okey. Ada beberapa soalan dah dari YouTube saya. Okey, daripada FTK UTHM. Prof, can you elaborate more about the digital transformation specialist because it sounds interesting, dia kata. Pasal career tu kan, pasal career yang meletup
tadi kan? yang job roles tu.
Student sekarang saya kalau pandai banyak peluang tu. Banyak peluang.
Betul. The digital transformation specialist ni adalah a person yang meneraju. Okay, they are the one who actually drive the transformation in an organisation or in an institution, di mana ianya being employed lah. So when we say specialist ni, maksudnya he or she ni adalah pakar lah in terms of making that transformation. So from scratch, the digital specialist ni, they will be able to facilitate all the process in digitization and digitalization. So he or she will be able to identify the workflow, the process flow, to support that transformation, sama ada in the kalau in the company to support the business overall performance contohnya. So even kalau di dalam, let's say we take one company, perhaps before this dia punya this digital transformation will be able to support and to help the process in many setting, including contohnya in claims and data in data analytics of the businesses, the customer experiences. So it depends on the type of organization or the institution that you work with. But the main thing for digital transformation specialists is the key person that facilitate the institution in making all the in digitalizing the process in an organization. So they would be, the person in charge to ensure that all are in place when when the transformation from analog to digital, and also to make sure that they can identify also what are the skill sets that are needed by the employees in that organization to make that digital transformation. So as a digital transformation specialist, although we can say that the fresh graduates, although they are lack of experience, but I think during your studies, you can be more proactive to take courses to upskill and reskill yourself in big data analytic, in data analytics contohnya, where you can get it a lot for free. If you want to learn for free, you can get it from many platform. Even Code Academy contohnya antara platform yang boleh membantu.
Dia popular lah Code Academy, betul.
Yes.
Okey, jap. Kalau ada soalan lagi kita tengok jap. Okey, daripada Nur Azizah Siddiq. Okey, Assalamualaikum Prof. Saya ingin bertanya satu soalan. Apakah langkah awal yang perlu staf akademik lakukan untuk merancangkan lagi transformasi digital? Terima kasih. Ini macam tadilah lebih kurang soalannya.
Okey, merancangkan itulah. Macam saya cakap earlier, we want to know where are we. Sekarang ni kita sebagai pensyarah, peranan kita sebagai pensyarah, peranan kita sebagai warga IPT, warga UTHM. Bukanlah saya kata two things yang berbeza, but then when as an educator, we need to know where are we in terms of the our digital competency to support learning. That is for academic. And for research, are we actually using the technology in our research? Are we actually at par with the dynamics or the advancements of the technology? And how do we use that technology in supporting the community? And it has always been, I do believe that it has always been, my belief that any transformation need to start from us. So untuk kita ni kata nak merancangkan lagi, kata we need to first we need to identify where are we, and at the same time work together in the department. So we start first in our department, in terms of using the technology for learning, and how can that can be scaled up to the faculty, and then to work with other faculties in your institution.
Terima kasih, very nice. Okey, ada soalan lagi. Aduh, rancak. Okey, daripada Dr. Imidia Murniawati binti Samsudin. Okey, di unit awam, isu paling besar adalah peruntukan bagi infrastruktur dan pembangunan sumber manusia yang certified dalam literasi digital. So, apakah inisiatif yang disediakan kementerian untuk tujuan ini? Okey, terima kasih untuk soalan.
Okey. I think rata-rata memang bertanya mengenai the inisiatif yang dibuat oleh KPT. Okay. Now, one of the initiatives that we have done last year in terms of providing the digital competency, okay, providing digital competency to the educators. That is the educators at VLE program for free. So this we have trained 500 educators from the public universities in developing digital content through this initiative. When we say digital content, when you have that skill to develop digital content, that digital content can be used in many ways. You can use it for you can use it as a content for your LMS, for flipped classroom. You can use it to come up with a MOOC, massive open online courses, or you can use it for micro credential. You can use it to upload in your YouTube channel. You can use it for as a social influencer also. For example, kan budak-budak sekarang kan suka influencer. So you want to be TikTok ke, as long as it is for learning. Sekarang ni media social is we want to guide our students ni menggunakan social media as a tool for learning. So but you need to have that skill to develop that digital content first. Digital content, that means you yourself as part of the process of pembangunan konten tersebut. So that is one of the initiatives, and of course at many settings where dari segi if you look at our belanjawan and budget yang telah meluluskan national e-learning platform, dan juga lagi satu on rangkaian MyRan yang ditambah baik, yang untuk meningkatkan akses kan kepada internet and network our rangkaian. So those initiative juga antaranya yang membantu universiti. But having said that, the university itself need to again identify what are the keperluan, the requirement that you need to enhance or to improve. Then mohonlah melalui RMK rolling plan untuk pembangunan. The universities can do that. So and as sebagai pensyarah, this one boleh di dalam fakulti jadikan ianya sebagai satu agenda. It is important to discuss this.
Okay, thank you. Ada lagi? Meriah hari ni. Ada soalan lagi. Okey, pada Ibnu Amba. Okey, ini kita punya expert. Okey. Salam Prof. Memang dah sampai masa semua kena beralih kepada digital transformasi selepas era norma baru. Namun, bila mula kerja di pejabat kembali macam dulu, ada urusan pejabat masih nak manual juga. Betul. Set but true sebenarnya, betul.
Itu more to I think what we call cultural and organizational transformation yang belum belum ada lah maksudnya. Where even right now sepatutnya bila dah 2 tahun that we have online meetings and we can see the benefits of online meetings ni when kita for those yang going for online meeting, you don't have to spend time on the travel and tapi masih lagi ada yang menyatakan bahawa it's not effective, those kind of things, and those tak boleh guna paperless, it has to be printed out kan. And mungkin bukanlah mungkin, definitely it is a satu perubahan yang atau satu transformasi yang agak mencabar, but it has to start somewhere. So when we say it had to start somewhere, either bottom up or top or it has to be a top down, but we need to inculcate this. That's why I said just now it's important we start off with us, with one individual from us, and from our small department, and try to figure out on how to work with others to show that this is not a difficult task, not very complicated and not complex. We can do it, and I'm sure that you can do it also. So that's why bila even myself when I've been using technology for teaching microbiology since 2011. So masa nak mengajar tu using technology ni, of course there are challenges. Started with laptops masa tu, and so you design your task from one group, and then seorang laptop saja, tak apa. And then by the time 2014, everybody came in with one device or more than one devices. So then we started BYOD dah masa tu, bring your own device. So you make that change based on the is dynamic, and we try to adapt based on what we have, and improvise, and to show that it is not although it's not easy, but it is a necessity. So I think it's very important that you just have to start and do it lah.
So Prof nak rehat dulu ke nak sambung slide tadi?
Saya okey je.
Nak sambung lah, boleh lah. Slide tadi boleh teruskan lah, slide tadi.
Kita dah rehat sambil bercakap juga kan? Dah rehat sambil bercakap. Don't know what is that.
Takut dahaga je bulan puasa ni.
Kalau dahaga pun you can't do anything. Okay. So I think kat mana-mana pun digital talent, digital infrastructure and data imaging technology. Okay, bila kita cakap pasal digital talent kan, we need to question also, are we working on that digital talent? How in terms of graduates lah, okay, to what level that our student will have that digital talent. Kalau kita tengok in terms of entrepreneurship, okay, semua pelajar will have to take asas keusahawanan. Tetapi for certain institution memang ada certain UA memang ada yang menawarkan kursus, for example data analytics or data science sebagai wajib bagi semua pelajar. Because when we talk about digital talent, big data is one of the pillars. So when we talk about digital infrastructure and data and emerging technology, dia bukan sahaja focusing kepada pelajar student yang from the faculty of ICT or multimedia, but it cut across all discipline. So are we actually providing that? Do we make sure that our graduates will have that digital talent or not? And perhaps the question is our educators competent enough to teach our to produce that graduates. So if it is that baseline data, we must know that baseline data so that there are improvement or intervene that we can actually make, and in terms of upskilling and skilling the educators themselves, right? So in the My Digital also mentioned how shifting focus of vocational and tertiary education from job specific skill to competency and adaptabilities. So I mentioned many times about competency. Even our Excel also focus on the competency based education landscape. So we need to know how competence of our graduate, our students, in order for them to achieve the learning outcome. Okay, so bila kita sebut pasal digital, pendigitalan, tadi soalan mengenai digital transformation, apa yang kita nak fokus? So we have the governance. Oh, sorry, this slide is in BM. I have the one in English. I can share with you. We have the governance, infra and infrastructure. Kita ada in academic. Academic akan melihat kepada pedagogi, kandungan dan kurikulum. We have in terms of competency digital, that again on the competency digital kepada educators and staff. Penyelidikan inovasi, research and innovation, and kebudayaan, enculturation, which involve also the recognition, visibility and internationalization. Now, if we go back to governance, pengurusan, it is very important that the management of the university support the process of digital transformation. Support dekat sini, support in terms of the infrastructure, support dari segi policy, and support in terms of to ensure the quality of the digital learning ecosystem in the universities. So that's why governance is the priority or the first top tier in digital education. Okay, infra and infrastructure, network and liputan Wi-Fi, devices, cyber security, data storage, and ruang or learning spaces, smart learning spaces. Okay, so these are some of these are actually the items, okay, in the digital education that we need to identify where are we the status. We can just say okay, KPT dan IPT memastikan keselamatan cyber. Okay, memastikan, okay, menyediakan keperluan pelayan dan server contohnya, membangunkan smart classroom. This actually a guideline or to guide the universities on what are the items that you need to what are the focus, okay, what are the focus that you that can support digital transformation, including in terms of sharing of data, e-learning platform, and also how all these can moving forward to develop a smart campus. Of course, when we talk about in academics, we have in curriculum ODL. Okay, where are we in ODL? How many courses, how many programs are going to be offered in the form of ODL in UTHM this year, for example? How flexible are we in offering courses? Do we have the mechanism to transfer credit through credit transfer MOOC if our student taking MOOC courses from other universities, from other platforms? Do we have that mechanism? In order for us to support that, we need to have that mechanism. You may not have courses or you may not have MOOCs that can be transferred, but you want to provide the opportunity for your student to take MOOCs from other platforms, but then transfer credit. Okay, transfer that as credit in your institution. You have to have that mechanism. If not, you will limit your students. You're not supporting flexible education. Okay, stackable credential will also be supporting flexible education, because it is a process where students are being recognized based on the credentials that they accumulate. And of course, blended learning. Blended learning now also we have not just to supplement, but we have opened up, we have recommend, or we also provide guidelines on how to have blended learning substitution instead of supplement. So UTHM, have you for blended learning substitution, how many percentage of substitution are being are allowed in one program, for example? So content, e-content, including OER, OCW, MOOC, and micro-credential. So I think this one, each and every universities through MEPTA always doing the reporting, but in terms of the initiative in the university yourself also need to be highlighted. Is there any kind of incentive, for example, to motivate the educators to develop more MOOCs or more micro-credential courses? Okay, some of the universities, they even use it as part of the KPI for promotion. When you actually develop MOOCs or develop micro-credentials, that is actually part of the yang akan diberi markah lah untuk kenaikan pangkat. So that mechanism also should be discussed in your institution if you have not have yet that approach. Okay, pedagogical approach, there are many. This is actually just on the surface on the current exercise. We have global classroom, personalized, and of course experiential learning. Now, I would want to emphasize again on experiential learning, digital innovative approach, and also holistic assessment, because I do believe that again we want to empower the students, the learners. We want to unleash their creative potential, but that cannot happen if you're going to lecture them in the classroom or even through virtual learning environment. They need to be given tasks in the form of project-based learning. They need to experience it. They need to apply their knowledge. They need to make sense of what they're learning. So, and that can happen only if you give them that, provide that opportunities through project-based learning. So before this, we can say, okay, we have lectures, and if you're just going to go through the slides, then change it, transform it in the form of micro-credentials. They can have self-paced course. They go through the digital content. They go through the self-assessment, and when they complete it, you give them the digital badge, and that digital badge can be accumulated to credits, and then in order for you, before you transfer that credit, you can even have a what we call competency-based assessment before you award that credit. So there are many ways, okay, to of course when masa nak memula tu a bit challenging, because you know you have to there is actually more work for you, okay, because you have to prepare from scratch. But after you have done, after you complete your courses, that courses, you know, it can make your life much easier. And by empowering the learners, you are actually, you know, it is much easier when you let them do it. Okay, because we want them to learn by doing, so let them do. Okay, competency digital, latihan, CPD. So as I mentioned, when you can determine what are the skill set that you need, right? So work with your institution, work with your faculty, okay, or even the head of the department also can identify what are the you know skills that we need, that you need to that your lecturers need in your department. What are the skill set that they need? So what are the skills, and then what are the latihan, what are the program that they need to be sent to acquire that skill. So that needs to be done frequently, secara berkala, dan you know it has to be part of the agenda, especially those in terms of, you know, we want to provide professional certification. So lecturers need to be upskilled and reskilled in terms of digital competence, and that will be part of the lifelong learning also. Now, when we talk about digital academic leadership, okay, that is also very important, because an academic leader need to have the skills and competence in digital competence to support. Bila kita kata perlu ada tu, tidaklah bermaksud, you know, dia memang pakar, tetapi you know, as a leader, you work with a group of people, with group of SME that will actually support you. That's a good leader. Okay, research and innovation. Of course, we have many platform already in digitalizing research. Kalau sebelum ni we have migrants, and we can see that migrants also have improved, and how we use our digital technology in research, and working together, a strategic partnership with the industry will actually bring a lot of impact in terms of the using advancement of technology, using the technology in their place, using their technology, and that can support your research and innovation. And lastly, on the pembudayaan, enculturation. Lecturers, staff also need to be recognized, to be awarded, and to make it visible. Okay, so when we say just now visible, means we need to have more sharing of best practices, perhaps some kind of incentives for those who have achieved certain requirements based on their digital competence, and also in their professional development. And lastly, on the internationalization. How do we showcase our digital ecosystem through international linkages, including the strategic partnership with the international organization, be it academic or research or other other sectors. Okay, kat sini ada soalan ke?
Okey, soalan ada satu, Prof. Ada satu. Kamu boleh buka sekejap
Okay.
soalan? Sekejap kita minta dia paparkan dulu. Dr. Doria. Okey, sekejap Okey, daripada Dr. Doria Islamiah Binti Rosli. Assalamualaikum Prof. What is your opinion if future generation students will select their own courses to gain degree certificate? So what is your take for the future education program development on this?
Okay, thank you for the question. I wouldn't say it's a future development. I would say the future is now, because through POISE, through personalized experiential learning in Excel, also we have introduced this mode of acquiring academic qualification. So students are allowed to take any courses in any platform. But having said that, the universities must design the program. Must have that, must provide that mechanism. When any individual come to you with certain numbers of credentials, how do you award them with a degree or a diploma, for example? So you have to have that mechanism. So that's through personalized experiential learning. We have three criteria: passion-driven, competence-driven, and the other one is mastery-driven. So still with 120 credits, but at different level of the credits, different level of the credits that they have to take. And you can even have, for example, students have taken all these courses and they have all the credentials, they have the digital badges, they have the certifications. And in order for you to award the degree from your institution, perhaps the students must take about, let's say, about 30% of your courses in your universities. That is one of the examples. So you have to design it so that students will know, or any individual will know that, okay, there is this program being offered in this manner. So it's not the future anymore, it's actually here.
So is there going to be any problem with the accreditation? MQA, everything?
When we actually develop the Excel, it is together with MQA. So
Nice.
MQA, PTPTN, the industries, they are all together. We work together with Talent Corp, MIDA. Who else that we work with on Excel? MIDA, Talent Corp, MQA.
Ada okey lah. Ada okey lah.
Yeah. Yang penting kita nak buat. We have to the drive tu kena ada. Okay, this is because flexible. This type of education is actually the way forward.
Okay. Thank you.
Ada soalan lagi tak ada? Boleh terus?
Okay, so setakat ni belum lagi kan? Okay, kalau ada kita bagi tahu.
Okay.
Ada kita bagi tahu, jangan risau.
Okay, so for I like to use, I think everybody knows that I like to use this word reimagineering kan, because kita tak nak just nak imagine je kan. Nanti kata berangan-angan, tapi we want to engineer also. So nak buat. So reimagineering higher education for the nation ni akan I think this is like a summary for what we have been doing and what we are going to do in terms of the academic excellence, curriculum and pedagogy. Right now we have Excel, we have transformative delivery. For digital competency, digital learning skills, instruction. As of course, we want to have the skills in instructional design, learner-centered with smart learning spaces, and of course, and also for flexible education involve micro credentials, involve also high flex learning and lifelong learning, and how digitalization or digital transformation can actually support can support this all the initiatives. Okay, Innovating Pedagogy 2021. This book, this report was published in 2021. I think you can download it freely. Some of these reports that I shared earlier, including the Horizon report, Innovating Pedagogy. There's another one in Tech and Skill. EduCourse report on digital transformation. Those are some of the references that you can use in digital transformation. In this Innovating Pedagogy, this is another report. Learning to leapfrog innovative pedagogies to transform education. This was published in 2019. In this report also they showed how, for example, blended learning, gamification, multi-literacies, embodied learning, spatial learning and computational thinking relate to digital transformation. And of course, I like to use these the skill sets that we want our students to have: sense making, social intelligence, novel and adaptive thinking, cross-cultural competencies, computational thinking, new media literacy, transdisciplinary design mindset, cognitive load management, and virtual collaboration. And if you look at all these skills, the question is how do your students achieve this? How can you provide that platform for your students to achieve this? So besides the initiative that I mentioned earlier, of course, the other initiatives working together with MEPTA, Magnetic Mapita, and other agencies like Talent Corp and MDEC. We have Sulam, Noble, and others, and through this one is actually on online learning. For example, there are many ways and methods, and I think for all the universities or all the educators have used this, using to create MOOCs, now working on micro credential, and even the learning management system. Now, I think earlier also I mentioned about.
Sorry for interrupting, Prof. So we can see that from the slides there is OER. Okay. Open Educational Resources. That is quite new for us actually. So can you elaborate some in your boleh cerita sikit tak pasal OER? Macam menarik juga tu.
OER ataupun Open Educational Resources adalah bahan-bahan digital materials, digital content that are being shared, in a platform by the institution in the form of Creative Commons, ataupun ianya dikongsikan secara tanpa copyright. So that's why they open educational resources. That's why this sebagai open. So the owner of the program, the owner of the courses or the owner of the materials they can actually produce it in any form, sama ada in PDF, in PowerPoint, in videos, What else? Even it can be in the form of a what we call a courseware that is under open courseware. So in the form of modules contohnya. So open educational resources is actually any type of materials that are being shared digitally in the platform so that it can be accessed by anyone. It can be downloaded, it can be reused. If you have said it, your material can be modified, then it can be modified and reused and reshared contohnya. So usually the universities they use their MOOC platform to share this OER
Platform.
in the form of OCW. I bagi
Okay.
contoh sekejap, I think ada kat sini.
So yang orang awam nak access dia kena log in ke atau
Uh-huh.
just macam YouTube just klik dan dapat?
So you go to the website and then you go to the OCW. You can download already
Perlu buat account lah,
the
perlu sign in ke untuk buat account? Perlu ke?
It depends on the platform.
Okay, faham.
Usually we would want the apa nama? We would want the universities to the individual to sign up kan, so that kita boleh tahu dari segi the data lah of the people who actually access the materials. So
Okay. Faham.
okay, so that is OER. Just now I mentioned also about the credit transfer MOOC kan. Nanti kita go through sekejap very quickly on this. Okay, this one LMS. Kalau UTHM using UTHM LMS nama dia.
Our name is Otter.
Okay. Even now in digital learning, there are many modules that we have also digitalized. For example, even the kursus MPU also we have offering in the form of digital content. So we don't actually create MOOC for the MPU because we want that digital content to be we get the educators to freely use the digital content in many ways. And digital entrepreneurship. So how right now, even now, because of the importance of digitalization and digital transformation, asas kesewawanan, for example, that being offered in the universities as MPU also 30% are being offered in the form of digital entrepreneurships. So students and lecturers are being trained and students using the platform. This is actually a strategic partnership with MDEC. So, and of course, we have our MOOCs that are actually supporting the part of the digitalization on the content just now. These guidelines have been shared even since ever since 2016. And the MOOC platforms, some of the examples of the MOOC platforms in the universities are being used for also to offer OER or OCW just now. So UTHM is not in this list, so perhaps this year, not nama, it's actually 8 already. 8 universities have started this credit transfer MOOC. Perhaps this year we can see
InsyaAllah
UTHM.
kami cuba sebaik mungkin. Memang tengah jalan pun.
Kan? Macam saya cakap tadi lah, kita tak nak limit our students kan. Dia tak boleh nak ambil kursus dari luar if you have that mechanism lah in credit transfer MOOC. Okay. Then we have the PTG and of course the ODL also. So when you want kita in 2019 we have introduced the mode pelbagai. Students can university can offer mode conventional and then plus mode industry, but ODL you have to apply a new application because ODL will have to you have to based on this COPA ODL. Okay, you have to come up with the themes, okay, to develop the program. And we have shared, we are working together with MEPTA, came out with the PTG earlier, and then we have also recently, I think in 2021, end of the 2021, we shared a webinar on the PTG and also ODL. Okay, so micro-credential, now this is a report by CEDIFOP 2021 on how micro-credential has become what they call a mega trend in labor market. So micro-credential have been the guidelines of good practices have been published by MQA in 2020. So but although micro-credential is actually the most in demand, that can provide credentials like stackable credentials. It's a kind of recognition. It can provide, some of the universities even came up with nano degrees or micro master credentials. Until March 2022, for example, we have 6 universities, public universities, that have offered micro-credentials courses. Okay, but of course the other 13 public universities are now in the process of developing the MC or the micro-credentials. So we are looking forward to seeing UTHM offering micro-credential this year. Yeah, Dr. Azli and everyone.
Yes, will be.
Joining
In the pipeline, yeah.
the
Some in the working, okay. InsyaAllah ada.
Yeah.
Kami buat.
Okay, so just now you were asking about OER. Last year, 2nd December 2021, our minister launched this national policy on inclusive open educational resources, IOER. Before this kan I cakap kata OER tu bahan yang kita kongsikan dalam bentuk digital, right? But that bahan can be just let's say lah, kalau dalam PDF kita akan guna biasa PDF at font 14 or 12 for example. And video, YouTube video perhaps kita tak ada yang untuk ada sign language contohnya. So this national IOER is to ensure that the OER that is produced by any institution will include will take into consideration those people with vision impaired and hearing impaired. So kalau dia ada masalah ataupun challenges in penglihatan dan pendengaran. So this is the first policy in the world that involve people with disabilities on open educational resources. So the IOER is actually a collaboration between Ministry, MEPTA, and also UNESCO. So now we have representatives for each of the university developing the IOER right now with the consultant in UNESCO, and by June 2022 we will be sharing the product of this IOER. And of course there are universities like UTM, UMK, and USM that provide e-proctoring or service of e-proctoring for online examinations. And to support the process, as I mentioned earlier, on digital learning and digital transformation, there are initiatives that we want to improvise. We want to, instead, before this Sulam, there was no, cannot do online, but we created the e-Sulam Innovate competition, so that students will be able to, unleash their creative potential on coming up with ideas to support community online. So we have our strategic partnership with, as I mentioned just now. So MQA is, we are working very closely with MQA. So now you cannot say that okay, apa yang kita nak buat ni semua nanti tak dapat pengiktirafan daripada MQA and all, because we are working together with MQA on this. And MQA, you can actually easily discuss with MQA when you have all the materials with you, and to get advice from them and work together with them. Just like we work together with Commonwealth of Learning on technology enabled learning benchmarking at TEL. Now we have educators are being trained for digital education leadership, working on the micro-credential implementation framework, and of course joining courses. So global classroom, I mentioned earlier, this is using UMP is pioneering it, and this year I would like to share this. My digital educators at Mohe, we are now we have sent an email to all the Deputy Vice Chancellor to send representative of 30 representatives from each universities to join this My Digital Educators at Mohe, so that this the educators are going to be trained on how to develop a micro-credential course in focusing on the digital content lah. So 30 from UTHM.
Right, ni paling baru kan? Kami baru dapat mandat daripada TNCA.
Yes.
30 orang, okey, kami akan hantar 30 orang.
Yep. Kan?
Boleh.
Of course, lagi satu pasal MILES ni, Mohe Immersive Learning Spaces. Okay, I'm sure each and every university ada makerspace. So it is very important that that makerspace supposed to be used as a public. Everyone in the university can use, especially for the students. So we hope that the university also will be able to identify what are the other learning spaces yang boleh membantu pelajar for immersive learning lah, including ER and VR, for example. Okay,
menarik gambar dia punya bilik ni.
This one lah yang I sebut tadi tu. I should have shared.
Maybe ni mahal tapi cantik.
Nak buat dia punya video wall saja dengan yalah, I think the videos and the AV sekali semua tu I think will cost about 100k at least kan. Cuma I think based on some of the report also showed that hybrid campus is the way forward in post pandemic. We are now not yet also post pandemic, right? So
it's not very cool.
Although kita tak ada all these lagi, the monitors and all, but then from our screen and our projector tu, perhaps we can improvise lah.
Betul, boleh.
So this HyFlex, I would like to highlight here. HyFlex means hybrid and flexible learning, so that integrate either face-to-face synchronous or asynchronous online, and I'm sharing with you some of the these are some of the books. Okay, these are references for e-learning, and these are the initiative again. Okay, these are some of the books that have been published in 2020 and 2021 by BKA. This is all in the PDF, which you can download from here.
The copy, but okay, for the rest of the peserta boleh scan QR untuk download. Banyak
Scan QR code, you can
atau
and you can
BKA ebook. Okay, boleh saya.
Okay. So dengan itu, we hope that with all our our hard work and our effort, we hope that through our actions we can reduce skill gap, skill mismatch, we can promote values and empathy, we can provide flexibility, we make that social economic impact, we make that societal change, and in order for nation prosperity, and in order to do that, we need to reimagining education. So with that, I would like to say thank you very much to CVL for having me today, and thank you for your kind attention. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam. Okey, Prof, saya dah paste link dekat YouTube chat yang tadi, yang BKE book tu. Sangat banyak kita buka tadi. Okey, ada lagi soalan rasanya. Ada soalan kan kawan? Ada soalan, sedikit soalan.
Okay, I dah stop sharing kan?
Ada dah stop sharing. Tak apa, kita buka untuk soalan kejap.
Okey. Boleh.
Okey, bagi dua setting untuk paparkan soalan. Okey, ni Dr. Faiz Ashraf ni kita punya superstar ni kat UTHM. Okey, content
superstar,
creator. Okey, superstar. Okey, so there's obvious friction towards digital transformation. So academics are not reluctant but are inspired. So Prof, how do we inspire academic staff and admin toward digital transformation? Nah, ni best soalan ni.
How do we inspire academic staff and admin toward digital transformation? I think the most important thing to show that just now it is a necessity, and it is a necessity, and to show that digital transformation is not hard, it's not that complex. If we can be able to to identify what are the gaps and what are the things that we need to change, and of course to identify what are the quick win or the low hanging fruits that we can start. We have to kick off first. So being uninspired, perhaps susah nak cakap kan, in terms of what perspective. Adakah dia, in terms of academic or in terms of research, ataupun the whole ecosystem. Because for me, as an academician, as an educator, using technology in learning, that is the first step to start your digital transformation. Because nak guna teknologi, you need to have the infrastructure, you need to know the infrastructure, So you see, when I use the technology, I work closely with the technical people from my Pusat Teknologi Maklumat in UPM. So they are learning together with me and my students, because when I say, okay, I found this tool, what do you think, what kind of specification yang sesuai? So we work together. So when we work together, then we share it with others. So you see, they want to explore, so we explore together. So I think that is part of the motivation code when we are interested. Just like when kalau kita nak to get our students to explore, we want to instill that interest first. So are you interested to make that digital transformation? That's the question. Tak dengar dah tadi, you muted kot.
Okay, so dengar?
Okay, boleh.
So kena enthusiast lah, start from the enthusiast dan
yes.
Okay, so soalan next question. Rasa ada lagi?
Tadi kata Dr. Faiz.
Ada lagi. Okay, daripada Perkasa UTHM. Perkasa ni kelas staff akademik. Okay. Salam Prof. Is it possible for you to share best practices from other universities in regards to industrial training assessment via online?
Is it possible for best practices from other universities in regards to industrial? Okay. Okay, for there are for virtual kita macam virtual internship jugalah ya. The idea about industrial training assessment online ni macam dia there are two things. Satu, sama ada student tu buat virtual internship atau you are actually doing the assessment online. Okay, so kalau you are doing the assessment online, where the students are doing the internship physical in the industry, so the approach is using synchronous beginilah, and either you want your students to send in demos or interviewing the supervisor in the industry, sama ada by recording ataupun real time macam ni. So there are many ways, antaranya adalah macam saya sebut tadi, via demos, interview the supervisor, or you can macam buat viva dengan the students. So yang tu yang I kata dua, sama ada dia tu adalah virtual internship ataupun you are assessing it actually online.
Okey, Prof, ada beberapa insan yang nak minta slides Prof tadi. Dia kata
Boleh.
Nanti share kat kita lah. Okey, ada lagi soalan daripada Encik Hemi Abdul Jalal. Ni kita punya IT guy, okey, one of the best. So bermula dari blended learning ke full online, berapa jauh lagi rasanya jarak yang perlu ditempuhi dan cabaran universiti konvensional seperti UTHM untuk mengorak langkah melaksanakan program ODL yang berjaya?
Okey. Kalau daripada MQA, kaedah penyampaian 60%, okey, 60% daripada kursus yang you sampaikan secara online tu adalah dikira sebagai ODL. So start, kalau you kata berapa jaraknya sekarang ni, then dah berapa persen dah you punya PTG, pembelajaran teradun gantian, berapa persen? Is it 50%? You dah buat 50%? Contoh. Okay. Ataupun dia pukul rata bagi setiap program sama. Ada setengah program, ada setengah universiti, dia bergantung kepada fakulti masing-masing. Ada yang buat 30, ada yang buat 50% contohnya. So from there, of course, you have to decide sama ada your program tu memang you nak buat ODL. So kalau you ODL, then based on Kopa ODL tadi, train the lecturers to do SIMS. Okay, you need to have that self-instructional module, because students would need to melalui ODL ni, student need to learn on self-paced also, self-assessment kan. Then from Kopa ODL, daripada situ start with one program first, then from there you dah ada experience in offering ODL, share best practices. Fakulti yang melalui proses tersebut perlu kongsikan bagaimana. If not, yang paling mudah also offer ODL for master courses, postgraduate courses dulu, cuba tengok. Yang tu pun agak quite straightforward. 40 credits je kan, because you need to learn the process tu.
Okay. Ada lagi soalan? Ada lagi soalan. Meriah betul. Okay. Menarik lah Prof hari ni. Okay, ada lagi soalan. Okay, daripada Sabariah Musa. Prof, simulation using AR/VR in learning content, are there any strategic planning for BKA to encourage or force UAs to speed up and focus in the simulation VR AR content development?
Okay, we encourage, we don't force lah UA. Tapi bila kita kata kita nak reporting tu macam force lah ke tak? Kan macam tu lah. Cuma in terms, when tengok keperluan. If it is like your program sangat memerlukan this simulation AR VR, so work on that lah. Maksudnya kalau tengok daripada soalan ni nampak macam Dr. Sabariah ni sangat macam memerlukan AR VR, but the question is di mana? Are we in the form baru nak come up with the paper ke, or now are not getting support from the faculties ke macam mana? So it has to be tabled out nicely on the justification ataupun keperluan untuk membuat AR/VR tu, and of course to show impact. With AR/VR, this is what you're going to get, the output and the outcome of using this AR/VR. I mean, to support, kan? So kalau dekat UTHM, perhaps you just need one dahulu AR/VR spaces. Or kalau tak ada space for AR/VR saja, ambil lah yang maker space yang memang dah ada tu, cari one corner untuk AR/VR. So that's why we have that transdisciplinary maker space tu. Dalam satu maker space, you ada AR/VR, you ada graphic, you ada textile, you ada CNS for example. So start small first.
Very nice, start small, betul-betul. Keyword dia cantik. Oh, ada lagi soalan? Aduh, ramai. Okay, Khalid bin Isa, Dr. Khalid bin Isa. Okay. The world we live in is changing at a fast pace, and what we teach and how we teach also evolve rapidly. Oh, ini macam komen lah. Okay, ada tambah. Okay, but some of educators still face great ambiguity between really understanding what blended and online learning means for an educational body.
Okay. Question is?
So lagi tak dia punya ni?
Okay.
Okay, keluar soalan dia. Okay, so what significance does digital education have on learning outcomes? IT infra, financial model, program quality, accreditation, validation of examination, student data, and role of educators. What significance does digital education?
IT infra, financial model, program quality, education, validation, and student data, role of the educators. What significant digital education have an online? What significance does digital education have on online on learning outcomes? You see, IT infra, financial model, program quality, accreditation, validation of examination, student data, role of educators. That's the whole process. The whole process, kan? Process of learning. So, what significance does digital education? Okay. I can't say that by now. I can say that by now you may see the differences or not between before pandemic, fully online, and now is hybrid, contoh lah, kan. And before this, using LMS hanya untuk upload, buat quiz, cukupkan KPI 1732 blended learning. But now using LMS as the main source of main platform to engage student for learning. Okay, to engage student for learning. And using technology, which is actually that is digital, untuk assessment of learning, assessment for learning, and assessment as learning itself. So I think the answer to that is digitalization, digital transformation, digital learning, digital education, support flexible education, support enhance learning, meaningful learning can be supported through digital education. So you need data. You need to know how, bukanlah macam kita ni macam syok sendiri, okay I buat ni, apa ni, guling-guling buat ni, and we are doing so good. You need through digital education also, reflection is easy to you get easy feedback from the students. A lot of processes are being supported with digital. So definitely there are many significant differences that give impact to the whole higher education ecosystem when we talk about digital education.
Okey, ada soalan daripada Dr. Khalid, ada banyak tau. Dia berminat betul. Sekejap, ada lagi Tak ada lagi? So, dekat YouTube macam ada banyak soalan ni. Okey, so lagi tak? Soalan seterusnya, kita petik lah, kita petik. Okey, kepada Dr. Nur Azhar. PM Dr. Nur Azhar. Salam Prof, any suggestion on Sulam activities that can encourage participation with international organisation or agencies?
Okay. Untuk Sulam, through SulamNet, itu Sulam Network, where we engage the industries. Okay, we engage the industry, meaning that at first we introduce what is Sulam, and also show them on how they can work with the universities to support community. So kalau dalam proses pendekatan yang project based learning begini, students will be able to work with the industry to support community. So that's why through Excel yang care tu, community resilience experiential learning tu, kita either you can have care plus real means, or care plus ideal, where students will be able to engage with the industries at first, and from there they find ways and means to help the community, or the students from work together with the they can go to the industry one semester, and then the next semester they can go to work with the community. So itu dalam framework care lah. So Sulam is per course, satu kursus. Kalau care tu is the whole program. I have about 2 minutes je because I have to go for another meeting.
Okay.
Boleh ya?
So ada soalan lagi nak masuk kawan-kawan ni Teams? Okey, satu lagi Prof, satu lagi.
Okey.
Satu lagi. Okey. So ni daripada bahagian hal pelajar HEPA, okey. Dr. Khalid ni dia ketua jawatan di bahagian HEPA lah. Okey. So is our digital transformation integrated with overall education planning? Particularly with the academic program quality, budgeting and financial planning?
Definitely.
Ada sambungan dia. Is it embedded in our student support infrastructure and in the marketing and sales enrollment or intake strategy? So boleh proceed balik.
Yes. Ya.
Okey dah. Itu soalan dia. Dia soalannya panjang, tak banyak.
Yeah. Kalau digital transformation, when we talk about digital transformation, definitely it at all level. Even the business model also akan melibatkan digital, digital transformation also will involve the business model, because when you have this, especially for contoh lah macam kalau IPTS kan, in a bigger universities, investment in digital transformation is very high, but then I think the ROI in terms of getting the student to attract the students for the program too, because digital transformation will support not only to provide the conducive digital ecosystem yang conducive, but at the same time it will be able to provide new opportunities for the universities to attract students, especially in international students. So yang tu ada bagi impact to your enrollment, impact to your marketing and sales of your programs, and also intake lah.
Okey, terima kasih Prof. Sudi menjawab banyak soalan. Okey. Terima kasih juga kerana atas talk tadi yang sangat bermakna bagi kami. So saya dan wakil-wakil CBL sangat kagum jugalah dengan inisiatif yang dah dibuat oleh pihak BKA. Dan kami bila dengar direct daripada dia punya owner ni rasa lain macam sikit. Okey. Direct owner, jadi kita pun bersemangatlah, aura tu sampai. Okey. Jadi apa yang disampaikan oleh Prof ini sangat berguna untuk transformasi digital dan pada style akademik pun boleh nampak. Sekarang ni ramai style akademik yang masuk ni. Okey, style akademik masuk dapat nampaklah apa dia punya hala tuju BKA dan apa kita sebagai staff boleh buatlah untuk support usaha yang dilakukan oleh pihak KPT. Okey. Jadi saya Prof ada apa-apa nak last words from you Prof sebelum kita tutup?
Okay, saya suka guna quote ni lah yang mungkin dah pernah dengar banyak kali tapi I think very relevant, iaitu you don't have to be great to start but you have to start to be great. So
Nice.
you have to start when we kata transform tu, today is the day to make that change.
You don't have to be great to start but you can be great. Okay.
But you have to be great.
Ustaz engkau best. Okey. Terima kasih banyak. Okey.
Terima kasih semua.
Okey, terima kasih. Okey, terima kasih kepada kami. Terima kasih Prof. Terima kasih kepada UTHM.
Take care.
Okey, take care.
Okay, all the best UTHM.
Okey, thank you. Thank you very much.
Okey. Tahniah CVL kerana menganjurkan seminar-seminar seperti ini. Diharapkan akan ada lagi perkongsian daripada bahagian-bahagian ataupun pihak-pihak lain yang akan memanfaatkan semua, insya-Allah. Terima kasih.
Terima kasih. Jadi saya nak ucapkan terima kasih kepada Dr. Doria sebab beliau yang berusaha keras untuk merealisasikan program ini. Okey, terima kasih. Okey, terima kasih kepada Prof. Okey, jadi itulah dia setakat ni tentang transformasi digital. Okey, so apa yang kita perlu buat, apa inisiatif pada BKA, banyak tau dia dah buat sebenarnya, banyak. Tadi pun bukunya pun banyak, jadi kita boleh rujuk lah. Jadi pada style akademik, kita walaupun kita ada bajet sikit, kita tak pandai, kita boleh mula pelan-pelan. Macam Prof Zuhainis cakap tadi, start small. So dia kata, no need to be great to start. Jadi boleh mulalah. Okay, guna apa yang ada. In fact guna kamera ataupun telefon dengan laptop lah boleh buat untuk transformasi digital lah. Dan kami di CBL Maya, kami sentiasa support apa yang anda nak buat lah. Jadi kalau ada apa-apa boleh terus WhatsApp saya ke, call, kita akan cuba serve lah apa yang anda nak. Dan kalau anda nak buat MOOC dan micro-credential ataupun ODL, kami sangat suka untuk bantu. Okay, sebab tu KPI kita orang jugalah. Okay. Jadi setakat ni ini dulu, setakat ni. Okay, kalau ada apa-apa boleh kontak kami dengan pelbagai channel. Kami ada Facebook, ada LinkedIn, ada WhatsApp, ada Telegram, ada Instagram. Okay, semua ada. Jadi use any channel, okay, mungkin guna channel yang LMS Autumn boleh. Jadi kita akan cuba bantu supaya kita mampulah. Okay. Jadi, okay, nanti boleh isi borang kaderan dan juga bagilah feedback tentang kursus ni kalau ada penambahbaikan. Kalau nak minta apa-apa lagi yang macam gini di masa akan datang, bagi tahu. Okay. Jadi saya rasa itu sahaja pihak saya. Jadi, ada lagi daripada tim CBL? Tak ada, okay. Okay, team's good. Okay, jadi terima kasih banyak. Terima kasih kerana sudi join kami punya sesi. Jadi kita tutup dengan tasbih kifarah surah Ma'as.